The producers of the Kelly Clarkson Show thought they had booked comedy gold. Jeff Dunham, the world-famous ventriloquist known for his cast of outrageous puppet characters, was slated to join Kelly for a lively conversation filled with laughs, behind-the-scenes stories, and maybe even a puppet performance. The audience, primed for fun, erupted with applause as Jeff walked onto the stage carrying one of his most popular characters. Kelly, with her signature warmth, welcomed him with open arms. At first, the segment was lighthearted. Jeff cracked jokes with Peanut, bantered with Kelly, and had the crowd in stitches. Kelly leaned into the comedy, laughing so hard she nearly doubled over at some of the puppet's jabs. It seemed like another smooth episode in the making, until the conversation veered away from jokes and into territory that neither Jeff nor Kelly seemed prepared for. It started when Kelly, between laughs, asked a thoughtful question. "You've been doing this a long time, Jeff, and comedy's changed a lot in recent years. Some people say your humor is controversial, especially with characters like Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. How do you deal with that kind of criticism?" The audience quieted, sensing the shift. Jeff adjusted in his chair, setting Peanut on his lap. He forced a chuckle. "Well, comedy's supposed to push buttons, right? That's the whole point. If you're not offending somebody, you're not really doing comedy. I've always believed in saying what people are thinking but won't say out loud." Kelly smiled politely but pressed further. "I get that, but don't you think there's a line? Like, people evolve. What might have been funny 10 years ago could be hurtful now. Don't comedians have some responsibility to adapt?" The tension was immediate. Jeff frowned, his voice sharpening. "So you're saying I should censor myself because a few people get offended? That's not comedy, Kelly, that's babysitting an audience. My job is to make people laugh, not to walk on eggshells." The crowd gave a mixed reaction. Some clapped, others murmured uncomfortably. Kelly, visibly bristling now, sat up straighter. "I'm not talking about censoring. I'm talking about growth. We all have to grow with the times, right? I mean, I look back at songs I sang years ago, and I wouldn't sing them the same way today. Doesn't comedy deserve that same kind of reflection?" Jeff shook his head, visibly frustrated. "Comedy isn't a song. It's about exaggeration. It's about saying the outrageous thing. You start watering it down, and it stops being funny. Honestly, I think people are too sensitive these days." Kelly's smile faltered. Her voice hardened as she leaned in. "That's easy to say when you're not the one being stereotyped or mocked. Maybe people are speaking up now because they finally can. Dismissing that as too sensitive feels, I don't know, dismissive of real pain." The studio fell silent. Jeff's jaw clenched, his knuckles tightening around the puppet. "Look, Kelly, I respect you, but I've built my career on making people laugh all over the world. If some critics don't like it, that's their problem. I'm not going to apologize for being funny." Kelly didn't flinch. "And I respect you, Jeff, but maybe the definition of funny is changing. Comedy that punches down at someone's race, religion, or identity, maybe that's not funny anymore. Maybe the world deserves better." The words hung heavy in the air. Jeff stared at her for a long beat, then abruptly set Peanut down on the chair. "You know what? If that's how you feel, then maybe I don't belong here." The audience gasped as Jeff Dunham stood, his face flushed with anger. Kelly tried to stop him, her voice urgent. "Jeff, wait, we're just having a conversation." But Jeff shook his head, already moving toward the exit. "No, what we're having is a lecture. I didn't come here to be scolded on national television." With that, Jeff walked off the set, leaving Kelly and the stunned audience in his wake. The cameras scrambled, producers frantically signaling to cut to commercial, but the scene was already burned into the minds of everyone in the studio. By the time the show returned from break, the incident had already hit social media. Audience members had posted clips from their phones, and hashtags like #JeffWalksOff, #KellyVsJeff, and #ComedyClash began trending within minutes. Fans were divided, some applauding Kelly for standing her ground, others blasting her for attacking a beloved comedian. What was supposed to be a cheerful, laugh-filled segment had instead exploded into one of the most dramatic walk-offs in talk show history, sparking a cultural debate about comedy, sensitivity, and where the line should be drawn.